What's up, guys? Chasing Laneway here with episode 162 of The Journey. In a heartbreaking turn of events, I originally recorded this episode with the Dortmund game and didn't notice until I'd gone way past that save point that the audio hadn't recorded. So we're going to have to catch up from further on the line. We are going to have a double header today, though, which is at least something to enjoy. And we're playing Aston Villa in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. And then we are visiting Blackburn. So hopefully those two games will make up for the one we've missed out on against Dortmund. So without any further ado, let's like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll catch you up on everything. And of course, having just recorded that intro, I realised that we did in fact play the Dortmund game. It was the Eintracht Frankfurt game we missed out on. But let's catch you up from Dortmund anyway. So we played Wolves, beat them 4-1 in the league. We beat Chelsea 2-1 in the league, drew 2-2 with PSG, beat Brighton 2-0, lost our first and only league game of the season so far 4-3 before beating Arsenal 5-1. We beat Eintracht Frankfurt 2-1 in the Champions League game that we missed out on. We've beaten Bournemouth 3-0, we've beaten Sunderland 6-1, and we've beaten Nottingham Forest 2-1, which means we now currently sit second in the table, level on point with Manchester City, but they do have a game in hand, and that game in hand is against our opponents in this episode, our second opponents in this episode, in Blackburn. So, looking at how Blackburn have been doing since we left, I wouldn't get too excited for that. The other point of note while we're on this screen is that this is the halfway point of the Premier League season, give or take. Erling Haaland is top of the goal-scoring charts with 22 goals. Second is Ousmane Diomande, our centre-half, with 11. And I keep complaining we're not scoring enough goals, but apparently nobody is scoring goals, which is really interesting. So that's a thing to be aware of in the background. But let's go play Aston Villa in this League Cup game. And this is the lineup we're going to go with. So it's going to be Ali Bear in goal. It's Enrique at right back. Diomande, Guillaume and Aydin that make up the rest of the back four. It's Camino and Caicedo behind Goul, Szoboszlai and Shaorego. Carlos Alexandre starting up top. It's Marcelo, Trent, Vela, Dorgu, Disoma, Elliott, Yalka, Takamoto and Fati on the bench. I'm just doing a bit of rotation. It's the League Cup. I'd like to win it, but our reserves are, in theory, on paper, good enough to be able to secure a result here. So we are going to go with that. That does feel like a strong enough lineup to pick up the win, get us through to the semi-final in this one. I'm not necessarily going to follow the League Cup too closely unless we get to the final, but I feel like it's nice to dip in and out just to have a change from Champions League football. No one cares that we're on a good run, so I'll just tell everyone to go out there and make a difference, and hopefully someone will do that. We'll get the game ready to go, underway, as it's the first of our two games today. Of course, we want to not hold ourselves up for too long, talking about too much. I am currently trying to sign a new striker, by the way, just in case I can find some firepower. We are trying to sign Erling Haaland's understudy at City, who looks really good. So hopefully we'll make that happen. I will let you know if and when that happens. And we are now ready to go underway. We can encourage the boys, settle in, and hopefully goals will come. Well, we've got our first highlight 32 minutes in. Szoboszlai with a corner, falls to Diomande, who can't score this time. Aydin across the box with a header, and it's been cleared. And that is as exciting as this first half has got so far. We are massively ahead on the stat book, but cannot say we're necessarily producing results from it, as Goul picks up the throw from Diego Enrique, and Camino looks for a cross, and it's terrible, as Hughes now with a chance to run at us for Villa. Diomande gets a foot in, Shaorego to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai through ball for Carlos Alexandre, is into the box. Carlos Alexandre scores. Took a very long time for us to get a goal. When I was watching the shots on goal on the stat book tick up, thinking we've got to get something happening soon. We have got something happening. We've got something happening now. We are a goal ahead in this quarter-final of the League Cup. Hopefully this will spark the game into life, because it was in danger of becoming a very short episode. I did have the ready to come back at half-time with nothing happening spiel in my head. So I'm glad we are seeing some progress, because otherwise this could have been a terrible experience. Diomande looking for a header again from the corner, doesn't find it, but it's with Goul to Szoboszlai again. He goes backwards, gives the ball away again. Vizic picking up the ball. And we are not very consistent with our passing today. The fact that we've been dominating really seems odd when you see highlights like this, where we just give the ball away, put ourselves in danger. with silly pass though. This is going back and forth at the back. It is going to be I was going to say that's going to be an interception where a ball falls to one of our players and it goes in the net. Carlos Alexandre getting a second. I've been looking for a guy who can score goals to play in the 9, and Carlos Alexandre has been on the periphery because I didn't know if he was the guy or not. I didn't really have the faith in him to be the guy. He's in the team, really, because I was thinking if I can at least get him to play a few games, maybe he'll be match fit enough to move on in January. But if he wants to score goals for us, I'm not going to stop him. We're going to check if that was offside, which it definitely wasn't. And, well, we're heading for half-time. We are 2-0 up. And this game has suddenly come to life, which is miraculous, to be honest, because I was very, very concerned that nothing was going to happen and we were going to get FN looking at the stat book. But we're not being FN. We've got to half-time. We've had a lot of shots. I'm happy. Send them back out there. Hopefully, the boys will go out there, do something crazy, get another couple of goals, and we can have a big old action-packed goal-scoring episode to make up for the lost one. Corner now, Szoboszlai taking it as well into the box to Diamande as always, and it hits the crossbar and goes over. Diamande's he had a hat-trick in one of those games that we missed out on, by the way. I forget which one it was. I forget. My brain is old. But he has had a hat-trick in recent games from just, well, 2 of them were headed goals from corners. The third was a penalty. He is absolutely goal-scoring form right now, and he will probably get one before the end of this episode. As a cross goes over here, claimed by Alibert, who is very slowly laying a claim to be our number 1. He seems to be a more consistent goalkeeper. He's not quite as good, but he seems to be more consistent. And I'm really liking having him at the back. I am still rotating him with Marcelo as he goes to prove me wrong. But I am starting to lean towards having Alibert as our first choice goalkeeper for the rest of the season. I feel like he's going to develop more with first team football. I think he's going to become a really solid player for us in goal, more so than Marcelo at this stage. Whether or not I'll stick to that is anyone's guess. Marcelo could break his way back in, injury to Alibert, or a dip in form. Anything can happen. But as things stand, I'm happy with how he's been playing. I'm happy with how all the team have been playing. The fact that our reserves are going out there and doing pretty well to keep control of a quarter-final is looking really good. I say our reserves, a lot of these guys do play regularly, but regardless. Szoboszlai finds Enrique, and that's gone just over the bar. We're looking good. Might be time for some changes, just to get some fresh bodies on the field, but I'm feeling pretty good with where we are right now. As Szoboszlai gets another corner, and he will, I imagine, be looking for Diamande's run. He has done. I said he'd score before the end of this episode. That's his 15th goal in all competitions this season. And Ousmane Diamande's goal-scoring form, as I said, a centre-half, hasn't played any further up the field for me, the centre-half, has been with us on and off for a while now, and has become the second top goal-scorer in the Premier League quite comfortably. The boy just keeps scoring. The boy is keeping us very much. He is the man that's keeping us second in the table. And I just can't help feeling if we can find a striker who's going to start firing for us, first place won't be far away. So we've done what I'm going to loosely describe as tactical subs. Trent, Dorgu and Harvey Elliott are coming on for Enrique Eidinger and Camino. Nothing malicious or suspicious behind it at all. Just the fact they've all picked up bookings. Let's just try and keep them on the field. Yeah, nothing really beyond the thinking of that than that. But, you know, it's nice to have the ability to protect them and not worry about getting a result. Because right now, I think the result's not in doubt. I'd be surprised if it were. And we're looking so good in all departments that I am just replacing for fitness and to keep people from being suspended right now as Diamande goes for another goal and just misses out. Was offside anyway, apparently, but yeah, just keeping an eye on the fitness and hopefully we will see this one out nicely. Free kick then, Jevons for Villa gives it to Simpson. Simpson with a switch ball there, but picked up by Trent, given away to Pino, who goes to whoever that was. Alexander-Arnold back on the ball now. We're going to go all the way back to Alibert, try and build from the back. Guillem forward to Dorgu. Dorgu to Jalrego, who gets just about tries to get a ball through. And we're going back and forth. We're basketballing. Dangerous, dodgy back pass for Guillaume there, and Amaruso on the ball for Villa. Dorgu breaks it up. So it's Szoboszlai now. Let's break this free. We have done. We've got a chance to run at them. We're outnumbered, but at least we're not in our own half anymore. Shalrego into the box. What a run. That deserved a goal at the end of it. And end-to-end stuff here as we go into the last minute of regular time as Visic goes back to Edwards. That's going to come to nothing. I'm going to make a couple of quick changes while we go into injury time just for fitness. We'll take off Diamande for Vela. We'll take off Caicedo. We'll send in Di Somma. And that completes our subs, protects the two guys that were tiring. And hopefully we see this one out now. We should be more or less in the books, waiting for the final whistle. And this will be it right here. There we go, 3-1 win. We're into the semi-final of the League Cup. Well done, lads. Good win for us. Nice and simple. And I will come back in just a second with the Blackburn game, and I'll catch you up on what you've been missing out on and who we draw in the semi-final. In fact, I immediately know who we draw in the semi-final. We've got Bristol City, which is interesting. They're 18th in the Championship, which is... I mean, it's lovely to see for me as a Swindon fan, but I don't know how they've got this far in the Carabao Cup. And we'll take it. So let's go play Blackburn. So we're back. Quick catch up. We lost the game between these two games against Newcastle 2-1, but Carlos Alexandre did score again. So that's actually a pretty strong sign for things. The Blackburn team we're facing is doing catastrophically badly. They've just sacked their manager and they put Jason Tindall in charge temporarily. To be fair, the manager they had between my leaving and now was doing a really awful job. I mean, if you bear in mind the team, let's get the players who aren't... In fact, let's keep the players who aren't currently at the club, because that's going to help. You went through it with me. You'll understand what I'm saying here. Mahmoud Saber, not registered, transfer listed. Sharandi Sambo is a guy that I brought in before I left, and he's good enough to be starting, not registered. Ian Matson, not registered. My brain can't. Alexandro, not registered. I didn't register Noah Ajuma until the end of last season, but he was pretty good when he came into the team. Noipan, a signing I brought in who's good enough for that team, not registered. It's breathtaking. Eloy Caces, transfer listed. Metzer, transfer listed, one of my signings. And Suarez was also a signing that I brought in before I left. My brain can't. There's so many players here who should be starting for this team that haven't been registered by the old manager, and he wonders why he got sacked, and also why they're bottom of the table when we survived last year. My brain. This team is good enough, or the team I left them is good enough to be sitting comfortably mid-table, and I'm almost angry that they've done this badly since I left. And now it breaks my heart that we're going to have to go and do that to them. Or go and beat them some more, in theory. Marcelo is currently in goal for us because Arnaud Alibert is injured. I said in the last game he'd be in goal unless he got injured. Immediately, the day after the game, got injured. Diego Enrique, Diamande, Guillaume and Dorgu at the back behind Camino and Gravenberch. Bargi, Wirtz and Rego, the attacking midfield behind Ansu Fati. Although, actually... I think I'm going to stick Carlos Alexandre in there because I want to encourage that run of goal scoring to continue if I can. Steinberger is on the bench with Trent, with Vela, with Eidinger, with Gould, with Elliot Doak, Takamoto and Fati. Trent is going to kick off at me, even if he hasn't already, because I extended his contract when he didn't want to extend his contract. I had a trigger in there, so I used it. He's going to be really, really mad. But it does mean if he goes to Al Ittihad, I'm going to see more money for him. So, kind of had to be done. Bit underhand, but kind of had to be done. There's a few bits of movement in and out. We have signed that new striker ready for January. I will talk about him after the game. But for now, we're going to get into the game. We are going to go and, unfortunately, have to beat Blackburn because we are now 6 points off the top of the table, as you'll see in just a second when the teams come out. It's not an ideal situation, but you just have to make the best for it. And I hate these interviews, but I told the board I would do more interviews, so I'm just kind of half-assed clicking through them. just so the board can't say that I didn't do the interviews that I agreed to do. We are getting ready, though. We should be good enough to beat Blackburn. Jason Tyndall has decided to go very defensive against us, which is wise, given the players he's been left to pick from. Mascara shouldn't even still be here. I had accepted a bid for him before I left. I can't believe he's still there. I hope he has, or whoever replaces him, has better ideas about the quality of the squad in January. I'd like to see them stay up. I don't want to see them go down, but it's looking very, very likely because they are currently sat in sat bottom of the table with 7 points, I think it is. First to Diego Enrique, though. Let's try and get a goal. As much as I said I don't want to, if we were clear at the table, I might have considered casually sticking out a few more youngsters to give them a fighting chance, but I can't, so I'm not going to. And Lynch heads that away. It's really confusing, be up against Blackburn. It is my brain doing things. I know in your time, because I'm recording ahead, it's been months since we left Blackburn. In real life time, it's been up 2 weeks. So my head is still very much in managing Blackburn mode and hasn't quite adjusted yet. So this could be interesting. It's good to see Sorrell still in goal, although I probably would have found a replacement over the summer. Either way, Rooney into the box, headed away by Mascara. Burt's, though, running up the Blackburn goal into the box, beats the entire defence by himself, can't find the finish. Diego Enrique picking the ball back up. He is being looked at, by the way, almost every game, in fact, by the Brazil manager. So hopefully he'll get a call up for Brazil. He is captaining us today, which seems like an odd choice, but such is life. Camino has the ball now. He's going back to Guillaume, and Guillaume will take his time. He'll go to Dorgu, I suspect, once he finally does release it. I've got used to watching how we play now. Shalrego back to Guillaume, and Guillaume with the ball forward for Wirtz. Wirtz goes back for Diego Enrique. Enrique over the top looking for Wirtz. He's in the box. He just can't finish it. And that is our problem in a nutshell for all season, is that for some reason, we just don't seem to be finishing in the final third, even against a team that are playing as badly as Blackburn is. And this team, bar Ingley and Balling, who I don't remember if I signed before I left or if he's the new manager's business, every one of these players that's there is a player we've either managed or signed. Gravenberch putting a crossover, Sorrell making the save there. And we are still playing with a couple of tweaks the tactic we played at Blackburn, which you think would make us easier for them to defend against because they do know what our game plan is. They've played it. But also, we should be ahead by now. We should have scored by now. And I don't know why we're struggling. We've rotated the side quite heavily as well, because Gravenberch almost never plays for me these days. Dorgu back to Gravenberch. Gravenberch with a through ball. Diego Enrique scores, and that's why Brazil's manager is looking at him, because he does pop up with goals. He does contribute massively to us going forward. Having him as the inverted wing-back has really helped us. Ironically, I switched that tactical role because it's Trent's best role, and Trent's been playing badly in it, and Diego Enrique has been playing really well at it. So it's worked out for us, but we are finally on the score sheet at least. Corner, Jalrego will take it into the box, and Diamande wasn't there, which is rare. And we've gone back all the way to Camino, to Dorgu. Dorgu finds Jalrego again. He gets tackled by Balling, but Jalrego will get it back to Gravenberch, who gets tackled. We're not going to get a free penalty for that, but there we go. Rooney Bargi on the ball now has a pop from range, and we are making far too many attempts from far out for my liking, given that we should be able to, well, we have worked it into the box quite a lot, and we're just not finishing it all we get there as tackles flying in from all over. Camino to Wirtz. Wirtz with a chance to spread the play, but is going it alone, kind of selfishly. He's been a little bit selfish in this game in general, but does cut it back finally for Rooney Bargi, who scores. I'd have been very angry at Florian Wirtz if that ended with the ball in the stands, I'll be honest, because he hasn't been doing a good enough job for us. And, well, in this game at least, he's not been doing a good enough job. He's found his way into the box a few times. That's the first time it's come into anything. And I'm glad that he's finally decided to give the ball to someone in a better position. As João Rego takes a free kick now into the box, looking for Diamande again, doesn't find him. Diego Enrique will have a chance now back to Diamande, goes back again to Guillaume, and Guillaume forward for Gravenberch with a chance to shoot off the woodwork, and it's gone out for a throw-in, which just shows you the power he put behind that shot. We're looking good, we're looking strong enough, but we're not looking dominant, which is what I sort of expected between the two teams. I am question marks about this tactic he's using. I know it's not my problem anymore, but it is making me mad. I always want to create a second manager and save Blackburn, but I'm not going to do it. Diego Enrique into the box, João Rego with a header off the post and goes behind. And it stays 2-0, and Carlos Alexandre, I was hoping would continue his goal-scoring form. Hasn't had an opportunity yet, but hopefully we'll get one before the end of the game. Free kick now, and it's going to be Gravenberch taking it. So he has a chance to impress and maybe get his place in the team back. I've just noticed Rooney Bargi's picked up a knock as Gravenberch hits the post. Once again, Rooney Bargi will probably not be finishing this game, but I don't want to waste a stoppage on him. I'll make the change at half-time, I think. As Diamande heads it forward for Camino. Camino for Diego Enrique. And he can hopefully find a ball forward. Does find Rooney, but he gives it away to Cristian Mosquera. To Serrao. Serrao with a big ball forward. We are going to try and win this in the air. We've not done it, but Guillaume brings it down. Dorgu with a chance to run down the far side. Cuts it back for Guillaume as well. And finds Camino. Finds Gravenberch. Gravenberch with a chance to change the game. And Alexandre finds Enrique. The two Brazilians combining. And Diego Enrique almost gets a second. It comes off the post. Goes out for a goal kick. And we are at half-time already, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. They've not had a single shot on goal so far. And I think I'm just going to go with I'm happy with how we've dominated possession so far. No need to overthink it. Let's just send the guys back out there and see if we get more goals. Corner, I've just realised I forgot to take Rooney Bargi off at half-time immediately after talking about it, which is fantastic work as João Rego goes back to Diego Enriquez with Rooney. Yeah, and with a shot from range, and he misses just barely. Rooney Bargi seems to be holding up all right. He can't be that badly hurt, which is nice to see. But I probably should have used that sub. Patrick Dorgu is having a bit of a shocker. He and Rego may be the first volunteers to leave the game. We'll see in due course, but for now, I'm okay with how things are going. Hopefully, we'll just kick on and see this one through now. So I've made some changes, Iding on for Dorgu, who wasn't playing well, and Bob Rooney Bargi finally gets replaced by Eugene Gould. Ben Doak on for João Rego, just to freshen things up a little bit. If I do find I need to take Wirtz off because he keeps being selfish, I'll rejig things again. But for now, it's looking good. I still want Carlos Alexandre to get into the game. Hopefully he will do soon. Well, that said, I don't want to humiliate Blackburn if I can avoid it. Like, I'm 2-0 I'm happy with. As much as I expected us to go out and get 5 or 6 in a game like this, I am happy we haven't gone out of our way to embarrass Blackburn, as Gould goes forward for Wirtz, and Wirtz will miss, as always. Serrao has tipped that one wide, actually, to be fully fair to him. And Wirtz will take the corner, so hopefully he'll set something up here into the box. It's gone all the way over all the defenders. Zach All making a very, very good defensive header. Diego Enrique will pick it back up. That's going to go nowhere. And I am aware that I should feel bad for flaunting the fact that we've got Eugene Gould, who was our best player at Blackburn by quite some distance. And, Murphy's Law says he'll score against them, but I just wanted to give him a run out. I've tried to give him as much football as possible when games are safe, and this is a time when the game was safe and he was on the bench, so it just makes sense. As Doak releases Iding up for a cross, looking for Gould back post, and it ends up being headed over the bar by Carlos Alexandre. I do still have a couple of subs. If Alexandre doesn't want to perform, I can fix it. It's not a huge problem. Just trying to see this one to the end, I think. So I made those last 2 changes. I am sending Vela on at centre-half because Diamande was starting to tire and I didn't feel like it was worth running him down too much. Ansu Fati on for Alexandre. He's not scored today. He was looking complacent and I just felt like we'll mix it up. We'll see if Ansu Fati can get himself on the score sheet instead. It does give Villa a chance to get some football in as well, which will help him to improve. He does have good potential. Hopefully he'll reach it with some more football. It is that kind of game where you stick in a few kids and you just see if they can do anything on the field against a serious opponent that's not necessarily a threat, as Nagakura puts the ball forward, headed away by Eidinger. Lowry gets it back, but Doak will put it forward for Ansu Fati. Gould now on the ball. He's got a chance to run at his old club for the first time proper. Gravenberch now on it into the box, has a shot from range. Sherrall puts the ball wide. We will get a corner, and I don't have any idea who's taking this. It is Florian Wirtz. So we'll see how this shakes out for us. Cross goes in for Guillaume, who can't get there. Gould has come out with the ball. Chance to go forward. Guillaume to Wirtz. Wirtz back to Gould, who gets tackled by Pfeifferich. That's a free kick. Guessing there's some beef between the two of them as ex-teammates. Gravenberch will take the free kick. Is this going in? Absolutely not. Straight into Sorrell's hands. And it stays 2-0. And, well, we're at the status quo, I guess, of 2-0. Disappointing to see so many of my old players not having a great game against us, it has to be said. Normally you're happy for that, but just this isn't the situation where I'd be happy with that ever. I think just because I did want them to stay up. I do feel bad for leaving them to go down, but we had to take the Liverpool job. We're into injury time now, and it's Camino and Vela playing 1-2s, which never a great sign for the opposition team. Gravenberch releases Doak on the left-hand side. He's got a chance to get the ball over and does, looking for Wirtz, doesn't find him. Gould is there, off the woodwork, and we almost had that written in the stars moment, but it was Doak that puts the ball away. In fact, it's gone down as an own goal for Alex Lowry, and I really do feel bad for Alex Lowry for having that against his name. Football can be so cruel sometimes. I don't even think it touched him. I think it came off Mascara, but the game, I guess, knows best, and it's 3-0. I feel really bad doing that to Blackburn, but, the fixture list is the fixture list. You can only play who's in front of you, and you've got to try and win those games, and as things stand in the table, that leaves Blackburn with 7 points bottom still, having only won one game all season. It keeps us in second. We're still 6 points off of Manchester City, who won 3-0 against Southampton today. It's not really the ideal. We'll do the nice work, everyone. That was good. I do still feel bad. I do feel we're playing Blackburn again on the last day of the season as well, which is really, really disappointing. I really hope they get a good manager in for the second half of the season. I really do. Because there's been a few big names that have been popping up in the news as connected to it. One was Victor Martin, who'd be quite good with that team. But, again, not directly my problem. Anyway, let's talk about the incoming newbie that we are signing. We'll go to our future transfer screen. Now it's confirmed, and Ben White joins us, or will be joining us in a couple of days from Manchester City, 45 million. I think I looked at signing him when I was at Blackburn. He's a really good striker who is just unfortunate that he's fallen second in the pecking order for a single striker spot at City behind Erling Haaland. He's 23, he has England caps, he looks like a really good player. He's got the pace, he's got the finishing and the composure to be good enough at this level with room to grow, which hopefully will all go into finishing, if I'm completely honest. Passing oil rate could use a little bit of work, but as a guy to be our number 9, I think he's a really, really strong choice and will hopefully add goals. He's not had the most prolific career. I say he's not had the most prolific career so far. He is averaging a goal every other game so far throughout his career. I shouldn't understate it, but hopefully this is the guy who's going to come and you look at his scout report as well. He's got a strong composure attribute. He's quick. He's handled himself professionally. He's versatile, homegrown as well, which is beautiful. And his weakest attribute is that he just doesn't get stuck into challenges, which I'm fine with because he's a striker and he might find it difficult in the dressing room, but I don't think he will. I think he'll be fine. Anyway, coming back, I am going to come back for the Lazio game in the Champions League. It might even be another double header actually, because we've got the Lazio game as the last game in the Champions League. And then I'll see what the score is after the Bristol City game, the first Bristol City game, to see if we bother coming back for the second leg. Because realistically, with all the disrespect in the world to Bristol City, because it's Bristol City. If we don't stick 5 past them in that game minimum, I'll be really disappointed. I'll be honest. I would be quite disappointed if we didn't pull that off. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. It has as always been Chasing Lately. Do like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave your comments and all that stuff down below. And until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a good one.